Hey there. So I've been thinking lately about the role of principal developers or whatever you want to call them, senior talented engineers in companies and what role uh, they play or should play. And I thought of this analogy that I'll share for hopefully it's worthwhile and you'll see where I'm going with this. So back in World War II, I've been told from what I've read that in the case of fighter pilots, right? It's obviously fighter pilots, a very dangerous profession, and well, in Germany, what would happen is they would take their aces and they would just keep sending their aces up on sortie after sortie until eventually statistics caught up with them and they got killed. Uh, and but the Americans, what they did is they took their aces and they brought their aces back home and had the had them turn them into training pilots to train the next generation, which uh, obviously makes a lot of sense to me. And I wonder if that same kind of logic wouldn't apply well in uh, when we're talking about senior software engineering talent in companies. Um, I think perhaps there's a lost opportunity in the way principal software developers are utilized at companies. I was I'm back to working on my own now, but my last gig, I was hired as a principal software developer, and it didn't really go the way I'd hoped it would. And I think part of the reason why it didn't go the way I'd hoped it would is because I felt like I had a lot of experience and ideas and vision and wisdom that I could have shared with the company that the company could have utilized. And but instead of me getting to do anything like that, I was just basically thrown into staff level line development work, same as any other engineer, and basically just expected to do the same thing that any associate level, junior level, or senior level software developer was expected to do, except I was just expected to do it faster and better because I was some kind of like genius. I mean, I'm not a mind reader. Like, I mean, it's still going to take me time to get acclimated to a code base. And if you throw me into a complex code base, uh, you know, I'm going to be scratching my head just as much as anybody. And, even though I'm a principal, I'm working side by side with senior engineers that have been there for 6 years, that were there when the project was much smaller. They have a much better context of the history of the project and everything like that. So I'm kind of competing against them, but I'm not the more experienced person. They are, even though I have a title that says I'm principal engineer. And so therefore I must be some sort of superstar genius person that can, uh, run circles around everybody else because I have a title. And so because of that, like no matter what I did there, it would always, no matter what project I did or what I accomplished, it would always end with, eh, I expect more from a principal engineer. It's like, all right, well, screw you. But I feel like just a lack of, there's an underutilization of the kind of talent that myself and other people potentially bring to a company. Um, so, what kind of projects would that look like? What would be a better use of my time, or what would have been a better use of my time? Let's say, the kind of things I'm talking about are research projects, vision, thinking ahead, being forward looking, thinking into the future, maybe, understanding competitive technologies or related technologies that are coming up, and, being able to spend time researching, new and up and coming technologies, and um, you know, looking at the code more strategically, working on higher level special projects at a higher level in the company, um, just things like that. I think that they're, you know, I'm talking in generalities here, but I think if you put your mind to it, that there are a lot of types of things like that. And the company I worked at was, I mean, if we're talking about a small little company, then maybe they don't have the resources to employ people to do that kind of work. Uh, but the company I worked at, I mean, they're highly successful, public company with, you know, multi-billion-dollar market cap, and plenty of money and revenue and profits and everything else, that they absolutely could have, you know, they have the budget for sure to utilize talent like that. Um, so, anyways, just thinking about that. Now, I'm working on a tool for software developer productivity, and so stay tuned to what I'm working on. So, thinking about I'm thinking about these kinds of things like software developer productivity and utilization and that kind of thing. So, I just wanted to share that. Thanks.